Strata meeting minutes leave clues and warning signs that the plumbing supply lines for the entire building could need to be replaced. We're going to talk about what those clues are, how to identify a risky building, and why condo buyers need to know about plumbing. If you like the Need to Know series, if there's something you want us to talk about, please leave a comment below and subscribe to get all of our future videos.
So let's first talk about the cost. In our region, it's been creeping up just about $10,000 now per suite, per unit. It's extremely invasive. So to repair the plumbing, you actually got to open up the walls, get in there, depending on how much you end up fixing. It can be a super big hassle too. If anyone's if you ever lived in a building that's needed to have their plumbing done, you're dealing with
Do not want to live through that.
Insurance companies, restoration companies that need to come in, air everything out, not to mention the damage and the cost of deductibles and things like that.
You do not want to live through that.
No.
But if all the walls are open and everything, a lot of times it ends up getting combined with the whole redecoration of the common hallways, lobbies, that kind of stuff. So it might be tied together.
Yeah. Another thing to note is if you have potentially, if you're selling your unit or if you're buying into an apartment building, condo building, it could affect your financing. Some of the banks, if they see that there's been talk in the minutes that there's going to be some repairs coming down the line, a bank could actually hold off on that financing or require more down payment to actually get your funding for the purchase.
Yeah, and that's going to cause values to dip during the course of the project.
No fun.
If values could dip, you need to know what are the risky buildings to watch out for. So every region is different.
Right.
Our region here in the Vancouver area, it definitely depends on the type of materials used in the pipes and then the water composition, so a pH, acidity level. So you do need to talk to your expert in your area. But what we know for our region is buildings from the 70s and the 80s in low-rise buildings, some of them still have all of their original supply lines.
Good copper.
So they're hanging in there, but they are on borrowed time, and if you see that, they're probably coming up sometime soon.
Right. Another thing to differentiate is a high-rise condo development versus a low-rise. In some of the high-rise, we're dealing with a lot higher pressure for the water systems to get them up all the way to the top, to the boilers typically. Another thing to note is buildings that have, in the high-rises, even low-rises, some will have, the units will actually have their own hot water tank. So you're not running a cold line and a hot line up into the units. You could just be running that one cold line and then be dealing with your own system for hot water within the unit itself.
Makes sense. All right, Jer, so we've helped condo buyers identify which buildings could be risky. So let's help them identify now what would be a good fix to look for.
Okay. Fix number one, we have the half fix.
Okay.
So not taking the pipes all the way into the units, just going up for the main risers, main supply lines, tearing those out, putting in new ones.
Okay, that makes sense.
Fix number two, we'll call the full fix. This is all the way, the risers all the way up to the top of the building and then into the suite. So opening up walls, ripping everything apart, chasing the lines throughout the whole building.
Okay, so we got into the hallway and then we've got all the way to every fixture.
Right.
Okay, and there's a third one?
Full replacement. And then the third one we'll call the new fix. It's been around for a few years now and there's a couple of renditions of it, but it's basically just like an epoxy lining that they run through the pipes and line the whole pipes to the fixtures.
Is that a long-term fix?
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
It is extending the life of them, and it seems like it's a very durable product. But time will tell with these new things, right?
Okay. Okay, so you found a building that hasn't done all the plumbing. That's not a deal breaker. You can still go ahead. Just inform yourself. Know what the costs are. Understand the inconvenience of living through the project, but you can still proceed if you want to.
Right.
Okay.
So what are the clues?
So the clues you're looking for as a buyer is in the Strata meeting minutes. You're looking for hints and mentions of common terms we see is a pinhole leak. It was repaired. No big deal. Minor plumbing leak. It was repaired. No big deal.
Yeah, there was a flood in a unit.
Yeah, right, a flood. But what's the cause of the flood, right? So when those pinhole leaks keep coming up, that's the big clue, is we've got a repeating failure in the plumbing system.
Because you could see that there's floods, but that could also just happen because someone's toilet overflowed. We see bathtubs, dishwashers, appliances are very common.
Washing machines.
So just because you see the word flood in the minutes, flood from a suite, could be from some of those other causes as well.
Yeah, so a flood may not be a failure of the supply lines. It's another connection problem or something to that effect.
Still water, still annoying.
Still bad for your insurance, definitely. So the key word here is probably pinhole leaks. Right? Want to see that. So what you're really looking for in the minutes is a repeating pattern. If it happens over and over and over again, that means that the plumbing supply lines are showing that they're nearing the end of life.
And that's what you need to know about plumbing.
Do that thing where you click the subscribe.
Stay tuned.